This is a short video that I'm putting together for the game of the week with just some positions and some ideas for the chess players to think of. In the first position here that I want to bring up, it says beware of the matrix. And whenever your opponent moves their bishop or their queen out on the second move, be careful that they might be planning the matrix. Here, Black noticed that White was going to try the matrix, moved their knight to f3 and was able to stop it. Good job, Black. The next point is don't move the same piece twice in the opening unless if you have to. Here, the White bishop moves to the square d5. The red arrow shows that it's not a very good move. A better move for White would have been to develop some of the other pieces. Maybe a knight, maybe the d-pawn, maybe the other knight, just anything besides that bishop move. The next point is move pieces to good squares. Don't block them or others. And here the black bishop is going to move to d6, but that's not a good square because it's being blocked by the pawn on e5, and also it's preventing the pawn on d7 from being able to move forward. In this position, Black should think about the ABCs of chess. A stands for attack, B stands for block, C capture, D defend, E exchange, F flee. Black flees to the square that you can see that the red arrow is pointing to, but Black could actually attack the white queen by moving the f-pawn up 2 and attacking the queen. The pawn is being protected by the knight, and therefore White would have to lose a turn by moving the queen out of the way. The next piece of advice is knights on the rim are grim. When a knight goes to the edge of the board, like the red arrow is pointing, then the knight only has 2, possibly 4 squares to go to. Knights belong in the center of the board so that they can attack 8 squares at the same time. From this position, it's the same one we looked at before, look for tactics. In this position, White could have trapped the black knight, which is on b5, and was able to win that piece. The way White would have been able to do that is by taking the pawn, moving it up 2 squares, attacking the knight. There's no escape for that knight. It's going to go down. The next position, think of 3 moves, then choose the best. In this position, the black knight moved to d6, attacking the white queen, which is not a terrible move, but if you look a little more closely, Black could have done the same thing, attacked the white queen, but also taken a piece for free. So if the knight would have moved to c3, it would have captured that hanging pawn and attacked the queen at the same time. Same concept, but a better move that gets points. Take time to look for tactics. White or Black has an awesome pin in 2 moves. Can you find it? As you can see, Black captured the white pawn with the other pawn, but if you move the queen first to a5, it sets up an X-ray attack against the king with the pawn on c3. If White doesn't do anything, then the black queen could go to c3 on the next move and fork the king and the rook at the same time. King would have to move out of the way, and Black would get a rook for free. The next position is defend your pieces. As you can see, Black has a knight that is undefended. There are no pieces that are protecting it. And of course, you want to keep the king out of danger, but the best way for Black to do that would put the queen in front of the king. And yes, it's likely that there would be a queen trade right there, but if the king moves to the square that the red arrow is pointing to, which Black did in the game, then the white queen can take the knight for free, and Black is down by 3 points. Don't get too caught up in your plan. Be willing to change. Black noticed that if they moved the bishop to the square that the red arrow was pointing to, Then the move after that, the queen could move right in front of the king for a checkmate, which is a really awesome move. But you have to remember that your opponent gets to have a move too. So white wasn't paying attention to what black was doing, or black wasn't paying attention to what white was doing, and white ended up getting a checkmate in a couple of moves. So if you have a great plan, take a couple of extra seconds to really make sure it's a good idea, and then if it's not a good idea, be sure to change it, and don't be afraid to change it. Finally, take your time and find the best move. Here, black moved to the square where the red arrow was pointing, and white was able to checkmate black in 2 moves. But if black would have chosen one of the other moves, then the game would have kept going and would have been a lot better. So take your time, be a private investigator, really search the board and find that best move. And if you do make a move, think of how your opponent might react to it.